Hey everyone, welcome to Forge of Empires. Starting out in a brand new world is always an adventure, a mix of excitement and what do I even do first? In this video, I'll guide you through the key steps to kick things off the right way. Whether you're discovering the game for the very first time or just setting up another city on a fresh server, you'll find the essentials here. But before we jump into building and expanding, we'll clear up how servers and worlds actually work. And I'll share some tips on choosing the one that fits you best. The world of Forge of Empires is organized into servers, each representing a region. You can see the full list by clicking the flag in the top right corner of the login screen before logging in. Works the same on browser and mobile. Every server has a short code that also appears in the game's URL. For example, NL equals Netherlands, DE equals Germany, FR equals France, US equals United States, BR equals Brazil. There are two special cases you should know about. EN equals International Server. It shows the UK flag and runs on UK time. Even though it's called International, the abbreviation is EN, not INT. Beta Server. This is the test server where new features are tried out before going live. Usually the game selects the closest server to your location automatically, but you can choose a different one if you like. General recommendations. US. Best if you're in the Americas and want to play in English. EN. Good for Europe. US or EN. For all other countries, just pick the one where the time zone matches your schedule better. Local server. If you prefer your own language, pick the server of your country if available, or another country that speaks the same language. In Forge of Empires, a world is a separate game instance with its own set of players, cities, and guilds. The core gameplay, like the tech tree and building requirements, is the same everywhere, but each world has its own independent economy and community. You can play in multiple worlds on the same account if you want to start fresh, experiment with new strategies, or join friends. The number of worlds depends on the server. The more players a server has, the more worlds it will contain. The oldest worlds begin with the earliest letters, like A or B. The further along the alphabet, the newer the world is. Why play on different worlds? Fresh start? Begin again from the early ages and experience the game differently. New tactics. Test different strategies or city layouts. Play with friends. Join the world where your friends already play. Extra resources. Some players use multiple worlds to gather more diamonds and rewards. Which world should you choose? For a beginner-friendly experience, pick an older world where many strong players can support you with trades. For a bigger challenge and a chance to grow fast from the start, join the newest world. Everyone begins at zero, so competition is much more balanced, though help will be limited at first. Account. Your game account is linked to the server you play on. Within that server, you can create multiple cities in different worlds. Each world is completely separate. Progress, buildings, and resources stay in that world. The only exception is diamonds, the premium currency, which are shared across all worlds on the same account. That's why some players build extra cities just to collect more diamonds, a practice often called diamond farming, though that's beyond the scope of this guide. If you want to play on a different server, for example moving from US to Germany, you'll need to register a brand new account on that server and then choose a world there. First steps. Begin by clearing the tutorial prompts. When the tech tree becomes available, research spears as soon as it appears. It unlocks your first basic units and advances the story smoothly. If you're new, take a moment to read the pop-ups. If you're experienced, feel free to move quickly. Once the tutorial wraps, tidy your layout so you don't bleed resources while you build. Place only what the early quests actually require, 3 stilt houses and a pottery, and stop there. Build gradually, collect on time, and keep the story quests moving. Together with the continent map, quests are your main source of coins, supplies, and momentum. When a story quest asks for it, place your first spearfighter barracks, open every slot except diamond slot, and recruit 4 units. You don't need a second barracks yet. Once you have your full group of spearfighters, move on to the final 2 sectors. They're straightforward to clear with your units. After securing the province, scout the 2 neighbors, starting with the one on the right, costs 10 coins. The Buy 1 FP quest shows up, complete it, and put those forge points into the construction. This will unlock the welcome event, which runs for 7 days. During this period, you'll receive a steady stream of useful rewards: supplies, coins, forge points, goods, units, buildings, blueprints, and even daily specials. These bonuses are a huge boost in the early stages of your city when resources are limited and progress often feels slow. Expanding through the continent map. Your next goal is to continue scouting and conquering new provinces on the continent map. Focus on pushing into the next territory step by step, as each conquest will bring you closer to valuable expansions and resources. The best way to keep your coin income steady is by collecting from your buildings on time. Fighting on the continent map can also bring in some coins, but once you account for scouting costs and recruiting new units, the profit isn't that big. Still, it's a good moment to push forward with battles. You already conquered Dunarsund in the previous part, which also gave you your first goods deposit. Now it's time to scout further. Start with Feldrangir and take it first. This will reward you with an expansion, which I suggest placing next to your first one if you've been following my layout. Right after that, move on to Tier and secure it as well. Having the province under your control ensures steady progress and access to its resources whenever you need them. With both Feldrangir and Tier secured, continue by scouting Himir. This province is worth conquering for its resources and for advancing further on the map. It also contains another Bronze Age goods deposit, though it won't play an important role early on. Be careful with the supply sectors here. They can be tough and cost you quite a few units. If you want to play it safe, you can clear the coin sectors now and save the rest for later. Once Himir is under control, you can decide whether to also take Badakus. The coin return isn't great, 600 to scout, 800 back plus recruitment costs, so it's not essential. If you don't plan on taking it now, don't scout it either. This way you preserve your coins. Between battles, it's best to wait for your spearfighters to heal, especially when you don't have many available. The welcome event can also provide extra units at this stage, which makes progress a lot easier. At this stage, it's also smart to begin building your friend list, as researching the thatched house unlocks the social bar. From there you can send up to 12 invites directly, while through the global ranking you can send as many requests as you like. On a new world, aim for top players. On older ones, spread your invites across different ranks, but focus on those already in guilds. Once your friend list is active, clear out unanswered requests and replace them with new ones to keep it fresh and useful. From story quests to recurring quests. At this stage, your focus shifts from conquering provinces to pushing the quest line forward. Continue with the story quests until you unlock the first side quests. Work through these, and after completing enough of them, you'll gain access to the much more valuable recurring quests. Most side quests are simple production tasks. You can complete them for extra resources or skip them to move faster. Either way, the real objective is to reach the recurring quests as soon as possible. Once recurring quests are unlocked, they become one of the strongest sources of resources in the early game, especially coins and goods. Bronze Age goods buildings are expensive and often not worth rushing into, so recurring quests can fill that gap and keep your economy running smoothly. This part of the game is flexible. You can actively cycle through quests to maximize gains, or just play casually and complete them at your own pace. Coins are especially important since you'll need a couple of thousand for the next steps. Make sure to keep collecting from your city and running recurring quests whenever possible. You can also boost your coin income by aiding neighbors and friends. With around 70 to 80 neighbors, even a small payout of 20 coins each adds up to about 1400 to 1500 coins, often enough to cover a recurring quest. Just remember to leave a few players unaided, since some future quests will require it. As you add more friends, they can also be aided the same way, further increasing your daily coin income. Building up an active friend list early makes this income source even stronger. During this stage, don't worry too much about rushing technologies or unlocking new buildings. The priority is to stockpile coins, goods and supplies, all while cycling recurring quests to steadily grow your city. Building networks, friends, tavern and guilds. This stage is one of the most dynamic parts of your first day. Within a short time, you unlock both the Friends Tavern and Guilds, two features that will shape your city's progress. As you advance through the story, you'll enter the Oracle of Delphi quest line, which gives you blueprints for your first great building. Complete the sequence of simple quests: supplies, production, research, add a friend, aid 5 buildings, sell 1 building. At the end, you'll be asked to build the Oracle. Here you technically have two options. Option 1, build and delete, construct the Oracle, collect the 20 forge points reward, then remove it. This gives you an early FP boost, but it is very risky. The story quest line will be blocked, recurring quests won't progress, and it's uncertain if you will ever get a full new set of Oracle blueprints again. Option 2, keep the Oracle. Build it and leave it in your city. The Oracle is not a strong building long term, but this way the story quest line continues without being blocked, and recurring quests remain accessible. Both options exist, but the safer and more reliable path is to keep the Oracle. This avoids blocking quests and ensures stable progress. After that, research Smithery and then Brewing. Smithery unlocks the blacksmith, the best supply building of the Bronze Age. Efficient for daily income and perfect for recurring quests that require 24-hour productions. A good setup of blacksmiths can provide steady supplies, coins, blueprints, and even forge point packs every single day. Finally, with Smithery, you also unlock guilds, which open up a new layer of the game. At first, you can join open guilds, aid everyone using Aid All, then leave and move on to the next. This quickly gives you free coins and blueprints. Keep in mind that once you leave a guild, you can't rejoin the same for 7 days. The rewards for aiding are better once you're in Iron Age, 50 coins versus 20 in Bronze. Eventually, you'll want to settle in a permanent guild. You will only unlock the guild expedition after researching your very first technology in the Iron Age. From there, as you progress further, you'll also gain access to guild battlegrounds and eventually quantum incursions. A good guild also means easier and cheaper trading, which is essential for moving forward without being blocked by goods. Researching Brewing unlocks the Friends Tavern, giving you access to Tavern Silver and your first real social hub in the game. The Tavern allows you to collect silver whenever your friends visit, which you can then spend on useful boosts. At first, you'll unlock bonuses for supplies, coins, and military power, and over time additional options will become available to support your progress even further. Preparing for Iron Age. By now you've completed the first stage of your city, and it's time to think about advancing to the Iron Age. The main question is when to make the jump. The safe path is to stay in Bronze Age for a short while to build up some resources. Use recurring quests and blacksmiths to stockpile coins, supplies, and Bronze Age goods. You'll need these to unlock the first Iron Age technologies smoothly without getting stuck. Moving to Iron Age immediately is possible, but risky. You won't have enough goods prepared, and recurring quests are harder to complete once you advance. Still, the reward is early access to daily challenges, soldiers, better guild hopping rewards, and immediate access to guild expedition after researching your first Iron Age technology. Recommendation: don't rush into Iron Age on day one. Use a few days to prepare your stock of goods and supplies through recurring quests and story quests, then research your first Iron Age technology to unlock guild expedition, daily challenges, and stronger units. Tip: the time needed to prepare can be much shorter if you're lucky with the welcome event, which can provide a big share of the goods, coins, and supplies required to move into Iron Age. Once you advance, the event can even reward you with Iron Age soldiers, giving you an early military advantage. Turning luck into progress. Normally I throw in sarcasm and jokes all over the place, but since this is a beginner's guide, I've been trying to play the role of serious teacher. Just this once though, let's prove I can't resist. So here's your crash course in how to turn random luck into actual progress with a sprinkle of sarcasm. Events. If an event happens to be active while you're starting out, congratulations, you've just been handed a cheat code. The very first grand prize usually throws a bunch of free forge points your way, basically the game saying, "Here, stop whining and unlock your tech tree faster." Don't expect to complete the whole event, you won't, but hey, even a level 1 event building crushes your sad little huts, so take what you can get and smile. Recurring quests. Occasionally recurring quests drop 5 FP packs. If you get several in a row on day 1, that's the game's way of saying, fine, we'll pretend you know what you're doing. It can let you hit Iron Age way faster than intended, which feels great until you remember you still don't have enough goods to research anything. Daily challenges. These don't even show up until Iron Age. After research, militia. Once unlocked though, they're basically a lottery. Sometimes you get a ridiculous pile of forge points, other times it's like, produce 1 million supplies by next Tuesday. Good luck with that in early Iron Age. Still, when the stars align, daily challenges can speed up your city more than anything else. Incidents. Don't ignore incidents. The shiny ones on the roads are basically the game leaving you spare change on the sidewalk. The new ad incidents can even throw you forge points, goods, or units. Regular ones? Less exciting, but every now and then you get medals for expansions, and expansions are basically the FOE version of winning the lottery. Final thought: don't rely on luck, but when you get it, squeeze it for everything it's worth. Free forge points, early units, or event buildings can save you days of grinding, or at least make your city look less like a sad collection of huts. And that's it. If you've actually made it this far, congratulations. You either really want to master Forge of Empires, or you just enjoy hearing me talk for way too long. Either way, thanks for sticking around. We've gone from huts and spearfighters all the way to guilds, recurring quests, and even peeking into Iron Age. Hopefully now your city won't look like a medieval junkyard. If this guide helped you out, do me a favor, smash that like button, drop a comment with how your first city's going, and of course, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next parts. Yes, there will be more, because Inno never stops giving us fun, new features to deal with. I also hope I didn't mess up anything along the way. This game has so many details that even veterans sometimes get lost. From here on, it's your turn. You should be able to manage things on your own. But if you do get stuck, or if something's unclear, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks again for watching, and remember, don't waste your forge points on Oracle unless you like suffering. See you in the next one.